Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and I would say this is the last of the pre-recorded episodes that was recorded before I went home for the Easter break, which is almost over by the time you see this. But I don't know, because this is the point in the story where some some really intense shit goes down. And I want to say that's gonna happen in this episode. Wait, actually, what were you? Calm down, camera. Apparently you can hold down the up button to look in that direction, but it doesn't work the same holding down. Okay. Anyway, I don't remember. I know what it is we're looking for, but I don't remember where to find it, so we can't abandon him then. So I thought there was something over there that I know what we need to find. Maybe I have to look on the inside using the connect feature. Anyway, like I said, there's going to be some intense shit that happens, probably in this episode, if not the next one, and I may be tempted to look in... I may be tempted to keep recording, like, one more episode after this, if that intense shit doesn't happen in this episode. But, I mean, we've got the best part of half an hour to get to that point in the story. So, anyway, we've seen what we needed to see. No? Can you talk to Matthew, please? Can you talk to Matthew, please? Matthew face. I want to... talk to... We've noticed that there's... Yes, okay. We know now. We saw that there was a... What? Wait, hang on, what? Look at the connect thing. Please don't just show him the DAS. Show him what I saw on the DAS. Thank you. I was trying to say, how do I describe it? It's a double-ended saw. Double-ended as opposed to double-sided, I suppose, because... if it's double-sided, then you can cut downwards and upwards with it. But if it's double-ended, then it requires two people to... The point is, it requires two people to operate, and it's a saw, and it's thin enough to fit through that gap between the two bars of the... well, between the gate and the fence, and it should be enough to cut through that rope if we work from top to bottom, because we've got two people, one on either side of the fence, so we can cut through it, basically. That's the puzzle here. Again, I'm not sure how you'd know to check the connect thing. Wait, why under? Surely you'd want to pass it over. Because then it would start... Okay, we'll start at the bottom and work upwards. I suppose that works too. Also, that rope, like, it looks like one of those elasticated... not bungee cords, but still one of those elasticated rope things. So, cutting it with a saw seems like a really bad idea. I did not click the DAS thing. I clicked on the item thing and the Wii remote jerked to one side like it does. So we have the saw. And then we'll cut the rope. Well, what the fuck do you think? Hold one side, and then we go, and cut it through. That was a really obnoxious noise, and I refuse to apologize for it. That was my saw imitation. Now, remote. Okay. I was going to say, how do you want me to hold it, but it isn't immensely clear what the controls are. I'm just sort of punching diagonally, and it seems to be doing the trick. Like, it seems to be punch forward, punch backwards, punch then nothing happens, and it just seems to operate on that kind of logic. Like, seriously, it's happening consistently. I am timing it right, as well, to the best of my abilities anyway. Oh no, it's going to restore the rope, because I didn't do it right at the very last possible... I have no idea what I'm trying to say. You know... because you fucked up, we're going to have to start all over again. Yep, let's just retie that rope that we've sawn through almost all of. I'm being cynical, and look, you can see the DAS puzzle by her left hand that I was fawning over the last episode, and I don't even remember what the puzzle in question is. Why did you come out? We're about to go in there. What was the point? I'm literally about to go in there. Actually, come to think of it, this whole area, plus the Ashley and Matthew dynamic, kind of reminds me of, well, more Pokemon Colosseum than Pokemon XD. Well, yeah, because Pokemon Colosseum had two people, well, a player character and someone following the player character, and then Pokemon XD was just one player character. So let's use the poop to get through. Let's tass it up for the first time in too long. Beep for me. Please? I'm holding the remote. I'm holding the remote right next to the microphone. Please make a noise. Please? Hey, hopefully you heard that. So, A up plus. I think the trick with that one is either if you get it wrong or if you take too long, or I think it's a timing based one where if you take too long the button combination changes, and that's why it was glitching and white noising. I don't remember what the gimmick with that is, but I mean I've solved it now so it doesn't matter. Go and watch someone else's LP if other LPs of this game exist, and I think they do, because I seem to recall watching like the first 5 minutes of one just to make sure there wasn't voice acting in this game because I couldn't remember. But watch someone else's LP if you want to see what the gimmick of that puzzle is, because I can't remember what it is and I've solved it. In fact, I've so solved it that we're so far ahead of it being solved, and there's that rat again. What am I looking for? There are doors. Many doors. And yes, I heavily suspect that this is the episode where shit hits the fan. And gets very real in so doing. Like, we draw a picture of the shit icon that they I refuse to call it an emoji because that's a fucking stupid word. But, you know the smiley shit icon they have on phones? Just draw that on a bit of paper, then, like, fold the paper a little bit, and then tighten it, and then the picture of the shit will fly off the page, and then turn into actual shit with a smiley face as it flies upwards, and then it'll hit the fan and go everywhere. So shit will get real and hit the fan. Look forward to it. Well, I mean, it's an abandoned place, and it's... like, you tried to come here last year, and you couldn't... what was it that they said? I think Matthew tried to come here, but couldn't actually get to here. The year before this game takes place, because that was... the first time he came to Lake Juliet? No. The last time he was here before this time was 1 year ago. He tried to come here, but got caught. So he won't have seen this place since his childhood, basically, so... okay, we've got the key to the reference room. This was a completely needed diversion. Completely empty photo frame. 3 guesses who this belongs to. Oh, the president of Crusoe Resort, not just the president of America, then. In fact, at the time of this game, that will have... well, I don't know, I don't know enough or care enough about American politics, but I think that will have been one of the George Bushes? Because this was before Obama, I think. I don't know, and I don't care, and I shouldn't have to know, because it's not my country, and thus it shouldn't be my problem. And that's not gonna change the fact that it might be my problem, because for some reason America's so bloody powerful, but that's just me going on a rant that's simply not worth... oh, for a moment I was afraid we were going to have a flashback over a computer that... well, I would say that someone like you never would have seen before, but no, 16-year-old in 2007, yeah, you'd be familiar with that kind of monitor. Really? From a distance that looks like a really wide, like, flash instant print camera, and oh goody, we can look through all the drawers separately. Well, that saves us a bit of time. And that saves us a bit more time. You're saying that as if you somehow magically... like, that's the game's way of saying don't bother checking the other two, because there won't be anything in there. Well, now that you've said that, I simply have to see in all of the drawers. And all of these as well. You don't have to tell me that it's empty. I can see that it's empty. Just you saying that it's empty makes it take longer for me to quit out of looking in the drawers. See, I would just give up. But the one that I don't check is gonna have something in it. Ugh. Well, then we'll look at this poster then. You'll probably get like a flashback from seeing that or something, even though this is after your time. Given the last time you were here, actually. This can't flash you back because Crusoe Resort didn't exist 13 years ago. Now Matthew, on the other hand... it's a very 1950s style poster, considering that he wanted to make Crusoe Resort a reality in 2002. Well, as I said in, I think, the last episode, I recorded that yesterday, I don't remember. What am I doing still fucking around in here? I have the reference room key, why am I... I have no further reason to be in here. I don't think, anyway, I don't remember. But yeah, as I mentioned in what I think was the last episode, the whole deal with the lake getting polluted, it was a logical conclusion to blame Crusoe Resort, but I don't think they ever found any proof. It was just... the lake wasn't polluted, then Crusoe Resort exists, and then pollution happened. So, it's a logical, deductive leap to make. I believe this is the room where shit gets real, by the way. Just grab anything even remotely resembling a butt about your person, and hold on to it, because things are going to get heavy. I mean, not immediately, I don't remember what triggers it, I just know that some shit goes down in this, I think it's this room, but certainly in this building. Yay, could it be the stack of newspapers we saw in the establishing shot? Oh yeah, you had a sister, didn't you? We hardly ever talk about her. Why? We could tell, we could see that there's a sticker on one of the lockers. You don't have to describe it to me. And why are we even asking this? Because we'll just look at it and find it. And that's a dick move. Why would you hide your sister's favourite doll? Oh, so... okay, I have some sympathy there. Because I've never experienced that personally, because I've never been the older sibling. And in scenarios where I've nearly been the oldest, like, when I've been, because of my cousins, I'm the oldest, but I've always been older than them by enough to never experience that sort of thing. For instance, one of my cousins, my father's youngest, because my father has two sisters, the older of the two, which are both younger than him, her oldest daughter, she had this thing she used to do, many a fuck ago. She'd stand on the sofa in a house that is no longer connected to our family, and she would just whomp, just onto her face, declaring, "Look at me, I can fall on my face." And that was slightly worrying. But then again, you know what, I'm not going to say anything because that would just be insulting that entire branch of my family, so... which one are we looking at? Because all these stickers look identical, and so does... and the other stickers are also identical, but a different set of identicals. Denticles. That sounds like a word for, like, anus teeth? Or, like nostril teeth? They are denticles. Is this the one you were talking about? Because I kind of tuned out of... oh wait, no, it can't be, because newspaper isn't a doll. How much of this are you going to read out loud? Because we can read this. I suppose I'll be quiet and allow you to read this to yourself, because I suppose it's semi-relevant to the story. So there you go. That's nothing we didn't already know or had been able to deduce. So... yes, burp. Well, this is the largest of all those stickers, so I can only assume this is the one you were talking about. I don't believe... I remember this being a completely arbitrary puzzle that has no reason to exist. And look, the puzzle is this. There's a shelf that looks very different from the rest. There's something sticking out from under it. Floopity-poo. Why did you have to spin it so violently? I was trying to make it spin more than one rotation. Why are you flipping it so hard, Ashley? Why are you applying so much force? I wanted to make it spin a whole bunch of times. And now I'm trying to make it only spin once, and once I pull it down to a certain level, it just goes crazy automatically, and it's just, no, just spin it a little bit. This is why this puzzle stuck out in my head. It's just... also, that's a really shit way of designing a shelf in a locker. Just saying. What the fuck was that, control-wise? Like, I did the same thing that I did a whole bunch of other times, in various directions, and one time she just decided to arbitrarily not throw it for just as many degrees as she could handle, and then stop it after 360 of them. Just, that was... I feel like my commentary has turned to absolute shit, but that was kind of aggravating. That she'd arbitrarily just, tipping the shelf slowly, and then spin it, and then stop it in place when it reaches its original resting position. Like, Ashley, just do it as slowly as I'm fucking... Ah! Yes, do it as slowly as I'm fucking. Use the speed of my fucks as a guide. Wow. Now, might this trigger a flashback? Not from us, of course, we've never seen the thing before, but from him? Yeah. This is where shit gets very real. I'm not sure how to commentate this, because this is one of the plot twists that, as I said, there's a lot about this game that I don't remember, but this is one of the plot twists that I do remember, and as I said, it's very heavy, and it's very just fuckety wow. And I have no idea how to commentate it, because I don't want to spoil it, and he's experiencing things. How? She's not here, you strange child. Really? What do you take us for? Just... rotate? Rotate your owl for science? Hang on. I'm getting Wii Remote vibrations around here. Okay, it's pulsating. Pulsating even harder. Hello. Well, that's normal. That really isn't fucking weird. Now, what's the main thing to take away from this? Kelly has just randomly appeared, and this is a bit strange. Yeah. This is kind of... I'm not going to say anything, because I want you lovely people to try and work out what's going on before the game says it out loud, because it's not entirely obvious, and it is a little bit fun to speculate, because there's this weird apparition of a girl. And Matthew's saying, "Oh, you were here the whole time. How I've missed you," and this is strange. Now the doll is floating. Very normal. How did... just what? Even knowing what happened here, that makes no fucking sense. But you're quite welcome, spooky Paper Mario girl. Well, it's like, oh, that's a point. What if the people who did the original good Paper Mario games teamed up with the people who made Okami? How fucking beautiful would that be as a game? Paper Okami. But yeah. So, Matthew Matzaball Crusoe, you've got a lot of explaining to do. Why is your sister a piece of paper who can magically float and disappear and take a doll and make it float? Seriously. Fucking explain your ass. Yeah, she's gone, and you can't chase after her. She's a fucking ghost, what do you think? She speaks in all lowercase, each letter is spaced apart, really muchly text, she had no nameplate, she looked like she was made of paper, she was only partially visible, she took her doll, made it float, appeared out of nowhere, disappeared once her soul was laid to rest because she no longer had any earthly ties to this world. She's dead! Well done! But yes, Matthew, explain to us, because... I think you do know, because up to this point, we had no reason to suspect that Kelly was dead. But yes, Kelly is dead. And Matthew's in very deep denial about it. So go on, Matthew. Spill the arse beans. Oh great, so your family's just prone to disappearances. That's reassuring to know. So she disappeared and she fell. Well, immediately those things kind of contradict each other because, I mean, okay, she might have fallen a lot, but I mean, you're implying that her falling has something to do with her disappearing. And given that you mentioned that she fell after mentioning that she disappeared, that kind of implies that at least one of those two statements is a lie. Or at the very least a half-truth. Come on, out with it. You know more than you're letting on. Tell us in simple terms. Well, I mean, you haven't lied to us, but you knew she was dead and you never even thought to mention. Then again, I think he was that deeply in denial that his little sister was dead. Because she was a ghost. That's not really a secret at this point. The game hasn't spelled it out for you, but it might as well have done. Go on. Just open your mouth and let the truth diarrhea flow. Are we going to have to go back to the boathouse? Because I don't think we do. Oh no, here we go. The truth is steadily leaking out. Now, just from these cues alone, and that line of text, you could pretty much tell where this is going. Yeah. And then she drowned, and that's why she's dead. So, well done, Matthew. You killed your little sister. I did say shit would get real in this episode. That said, I mean, I didn't remember the exact nature of her death. I just remembered that she was dead, and that she'd fallen into the lake and drowned, and I knew that Matthew had something to do with it. There we go, he finally, even though it was fucking obvious. But I remember he had something to do with the death, and there was a thought in the back of my head saying, he pushed her into the lake, he held her under until the bubbles stopped. No. He didn't kill her, he didn't maliciously end her life, he just accidentally let her go when she was trying to touch the water and be selfish and all that stuff. And also, I suppose him taking her to the boathouse was kind of step one in her dying, but he couldn't have known that at the time. So, he isn't as responsible for the death as I remembered him being, nor as much as he's blaming himself for. But, yeah. Nevertheless, dead little sister that he blames, bearing in mind, this will have been anywhere between, well, no, it would have been between 2 and 5 years ago, possibly even less than that, or more than that rather, and he's only 13 now. That's gonna weigh pretty heavy on him. Well, she wanted the doll back, well, and I suppose, no, she did just want the doll back because that's how ghosts work, apparently, that they have earthly ties and unfinished business. I mean, if she wanted to see him again, she could have just gone somewhere where either that her spirit was just tied to the doll, and she couldn't leave because the doll was stuck. I don't think, being as young as she was, I don't think she would have had the foresight to think, oh, I'll hide near the doll because he's gonna come back eventually. That seems a bit far-fetched. Because why would he have any reason to come back? I mean, the only reason why we're here now is circumstance. And I know I'm being incredibly harsh on him, and it's coming across as incredibly dickish. It's just my take on the matter, watching it back a second time, because the first time, obviously I played this game in 2011 or whenever it was. Oh yeah, because in the first game she was friends with a ghost, and in this game she's friends with a ghost maker. But no, it wasn't Matthew's, well, Matthew blames himself for Kelly's death, but it wasn't his fault. He could have prevented it, but that doesn't mean that it's his fault because he didn't prevent it, because he didn't know that it needed preventing at the time, so therefore it's not his fault. So did he call himself D because the D stood for dead? Honestly, I don't know what the story of the first game is, so, yeah. I suppose, to that extent, I shouldn't have acted so surprised around, around Kelly appearing, because of course this game series is no stranger to having ghosts as canonical entities, so, yeah. It's mostly realism, but just, there's Dee and now there's Kelly. Well, she fucked off, so she fucked off, she said thank you, she took her doll, yeah, she's probably happy now. Maybe I'm treating this whole scenario far too brusquely, is that the right word? Am I being too harsh about it? Because for me, it's not this huge plot twist, I already knew about it, but for anyone watching blind, this must be like a huge reveal, that we were vaguely aware that Matthew, he had a little sister that we knew nothing about. He had a dead mother and a disappeared father, and he lives with an abusive uncle. So, we knew that things were a bit shit for him. Now we've discovered that he has literally none of his nuclear family left at this point. So he's kind of not in the best of situations, and so now we have even more of a reason to support him. At least as a friend. And also, I suppose that's a nice kind of applicable moral. Don't cry about stuff that wasn't your fault if it resulted in someone dying, because then the dead person will just worry about you. Yes, you can see her in your heart. Yeah, okay, I had a feeling that was where this was going. Now, I'm not trying to criticize them for being emotional, of course, because coping mechanisms, they're important. I'm just saying I saw that line coming from a mile away, that's all. Anyway, now that we've got all of this emotional baggage set to one side, we have some more general poking around to do. I don't remember what that poking around involves, but it is there to be done and requires doing. Oh, hello. John, we know that's not your real name. Griggity Gru with your Sunglarse in the poo. Which is your full name now. Sunglarse for short. Yeah, you're welcome. We opened the door. Well, that would be a lie, but he wouldn't believe that anyway, so might as well tell the truth and not be believed for it. As it is, they're kids, so if you tried to use their testimonial as, oh, you're trespassing, they're not likely to be believed, so... I don't know, in the eyes of the law, we're not likely to lie, and so we could lie and say that it's your fault that we're in here, I don't know. The point is, Sunglarse, you're shady as fuck, so how we got in here is of no consequence. Have you seen him somewhere? Oh, God. How could you remember him so vividly from however many years ago it was? People change. Faces change. But yes. Tell us what's happening here, and tell us your real name as well. Why the fuck would you lie to us with your shady-ass shit? Shady-ass shit. Is there any other kind of shit, apart from ass shit? What a poignant note to leave my commentary hanging on. But yeah, you might as well give us some answers given that you've been lying to us up to this point. Or you could just fondle your beard, that works too. Yeah, what's your deal? Well, I mean, it would be helpful. If someone already has answers and they'll be willing to share them with us, that would help quite a bit. It would speed the process up dramatically. So if he's willing to talk, yeah, we know. We are aware of this. We found this out by our arse selves. Gurg device. That's one hell of a mispronunciation. More's the point, why did you believe him? See, that implies he had no reason. It's just what I do. Like, that implies he had no good reason for using a pseudonym. It was just, I just felt like it because I do that sometimes. Oh, ain't I a stinker? But go on, speak words unto us. Well, given that you're researching Crusoe Resort, that makes a lot of sense. And you told us to stop looking for him because you thought we'd just get in the way? Is that what you're driving at? Gurgy-wurgy, sunglass face with your fucker of a nose, where if you look at it from just the right angle, it probably looks like someone twerking. Because twerking noses, they are a thing. Ah, jarring thud Fitzgerald. And... well, we've seen one of your articles, but I don't think that's the one that he's talking about just there. Or it might have been. And, once again, you're reiterating stuff that we've been told 1,000 times already. And you would have thought, because he was denying it so strongly, just in general, and nobody believed him, and that he'd been framed and all that, he's probably, like, Michael Crusoe was probably telling the truth. It's just the typical trope in this sort of situation. Nobody believes him, but it turns out that he was actually telling the truth all along. Why would he do it under such shady circumstances? Why would he not just say, yo, meet me here in this perfectly normal location and we will exchange details, rather than... See, that makes it sound like you're just, like a really needy puppy, just like, oh, he wasn't out by the post box, so I'm just going to wander around aimlessly for 5 years until I find him. And so, one can assume then that perhaps he was, I don't know, Michael Crusoe turned up to the clock tower a little bit early, something happened, he jumped off into the water, and then Greg turned up. I don't know, that's just me assuming. Yeah, there we go, he turned up a little late. So, there you go. I'm not saying that's what happened. Wow. You couldn't have gone into the clock tower and looked for it. At no point did it occur to you to look for the music box, given that he asked to meet you in person to deliver a physical hard copy of a report. And you didn't think to look in the meeting place to try and find it, because if he's giving you a physical report and he can't meet you in person, you would have thought that he'd hide the thing that he's trying to give you in the meeting place, and the meeting place is a clue to find the thing. Why did it take a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old doing something completely by chance to find something that you were explicitly told to look for? Oh wow, you and your big-ass mouth. That seems like a really bad idea, but that is a thing that we're going to have to do, as I recall. Oh, this episode's gonna overrun, I'm sure, but there you go. Here's the puzzle box. You probably can't solve it either, then you're gonna give us the... In fact, I feel like Matthew couldn't solve it because he used to be able to do it from muscle memory and he's since forgotten. Greg's going to not be able to work out how to open it, and he'll have, like, the answer written down on a piece of paper, and then he'll give both to us and say, you open it then, because you're the protagonist. We found it. In the clock tower, where you were supposed to find it in the first place. You dildo. Your sunglasses. It's like a metaphor for you being mentally blind. Or just generally slow in the head. I'm guessing this is the answer key to opening the puzzle box? Sure enough. Yum. Well, we've already got our objective for the next episode. Didn't really look like Ashley was trying to grab the note. It looked more like she was going in for a fist bump. Okay, well, in the next episode I'll deal with that, because otherwise this episode will just run on forever. So I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons. Next time we'll open the puzzle box, this time shit hit the fan. Fun times, although it's going to be a while before I record this again, because Easter. Bye!